Hi folks, Buffin here with a little more for the Trumpers Only Speak Whinese series. I was talking about Charlie Kirk earlier, and I had him confused with Ben Shapiro, and I misspoke. I said Ben Shapiro made a big splash when he was all like, "Oh, Cardi B is spreading this awful rumor that something can happen with the female body, but it never happens when I'm in the room. It's a myth. Moisture is a myth." And I said that he made a big splash in the memeverse. Well, he didn't make a big splash out of respect for Ben Shapiro, who in his world moisture doesn't exist. He made like one of those coyote dust cloud things. So didn't make a splash. So sorry I used that terminology. And yeah, I confused him with Charlie Kirk because they're both scripted by Putin. Like they're both just spewing Putin propaganda. Charlie Kirk's was, I'm sorry I was even listening to him. I just tuned into this right wing radio station, 710 AM KNUS, to hear what these guys are talking about. And it's refreshing to hear them talking about no more Trump, because they're actually kind of ahead of the game talking about people are going to arrest Trump pretty soon. That's interesting to hear that side of that. But Charlie Kirk is still whining about trying to keep people from getting vaccinated, basically playing the whole Joe Rogan card. So cancel Joe Rogan. And I mentioned this in my other video about how he's whining about having to show his papers, his vaccine credential to go into a coffee shop. I don't even know if he really did, if that's actually even a true story, but he made up a story, or he told a story saying, "Let me tell you a story." And then he told a story saying that he had to show his papers in a coffee shop. And then how he likened that to like every time I was about to turn it off, every time I stopped recording what he's saying and was about to turn the radio off, he like upped the ante in stupidity. So I was like, turned it back on, listened to him again. But he said something like that he had compared it to showing your papers in East Germany. And I turned him off and I was like, oh my gosh, what's he going to say? I turned him back on and he's like, the National Socialist Party wasn't even in East Germany. So I wasn't saying the National Socialist Party. Look, that's not what we call them. We call them Nazis. The word is Nazi. And you might be afraid of the word Nazi, Charlie Kirk, because you are a Nazi. But when we apply these labels correctly, and I'm not saying that to make you feel bad or to be a bad word to use against you. I'm saying it to accurately describe what you are. And Nazis typically blame other people for what they do and say that other people are doing what they do and say that the problem is the other people's problem instead of the problem that they created. But you created, Trump and Putin and Zuckerberg created this whole Trump virus genocide by spreading lies about the Trump virus, saying people didn't have to wear masks, saying, everything you could, trying to push people back together to spread it and trying to lie to people and continue to lie to people. So in Charlie Kirk's words, he's calling us, likening people who ask for papers to show that you've been vaccinated to Nazis when he's the real Nazi. And I'm not just saying, oh, no, I know you are, what am I? No, he really is. And we really aren't. It's just for public health and out of consideration for everybody to ask people to wear masks or ask people to show vaccination proof or whatever it is. But he's also just making it ridiculous, saying, you can go to your own hometown and they'll ask you for papers, ask you for your most intimate medical history is the way he phrased it. In your own hometown, they'll ask you for your most intimate medical history. Well, in most of your hometowns, they probably know your medical history. It would be helpful if they did. But no, honestly, they're not asking for your intimate medical history. They're just asking for your vaccination status to know that you're not a threat to the public. But these people are a threat to the public. They're a threat to the public with their ideas. And the people that eat up and believe their ideas, I turn on that same radio station, they're praising the truckers protesting in Canada and talking about nobody's reporting on it. It's like, it's bad. It's wrong for people to be all upset about something that's trying to help their health and help the health of others. And there's vaccines available of every type. There's no excuse not to get a vaccine anymore. But they're still pushing the narrative. So let's stop their whining and call them out. The Trumpers only speak Whinese. And Charlie Kirk, I'm sure, is the worst. Thanks for watching.